welcome to another edition of Houston Texans football. I am one part of your show, Ruben Calvillo. I am joined by Harley from the lead and Mr. Houston Stressens himself. Harley, man, how's it going, man? How you feeling?
Doing great, man. We're 6-2. We
Okay,
swept the Colts. We got a
okay.
game tomorrow.
Oh,
I was like, hey, man, I got to do a video already. My goodness, I got to talk about the game. I'm excited, man. Can't wait. Halloween's tomorrow.
ooh.
Shout out to everyone that celebrates Halloween, including myself. You
Sheesh.
know, Halloween parties.
What you gonna be
Woo!
dressed as?
Nothing, man. I'm just I come dressed as myself.
Big sexy.
The YouTuber.
Stressens, how you feeling, man?
I'm good. I'm blessed, man. I know a lot of us fans are obviously we're happy and fortunate. We're 6-2, and I know there's some of us, or we all agree there's some issues. Obviously, pass protection, O line specifically, but things could be a lot worse. We could be 3 and whatever, or 2 or 3, 4 wins. So basically wrapped up the division. Basically have a 3-game lead now that we beat the Colts, got the tiebreaker, swept them. So big blessing, man.
Big blessing. And then here he comes, our guy AD from the H Town Rundown. AD, I have to say, you have become must watch on Tuesday nights with your film breakdowns,
Hey,
man. You're getting it's I was tuned in the entire time and I said, hey, dude, great job. You're doing fantastic.
appreciate it, man. Thank you, thank you.
Well, boys, 6-2. The Houston Texans coming off of a home win against Indianapolis Colts 23-20. Shout out to Dr. Barrett. He says, y'all ain't swarming. No, man, we swarmed. You don't want to
Well,
know
Barrett.
how hard we swarmed there.
Pause.
Pause. My fault. That's crazy. Um, but I mean, first off, and Stressens, I'll start with you. Houston Texans, they win 23-20. We saw a change in the offensive line in the second quarter. First round pick Kenyon Green was replaced after a rough first quarter. In comes in Jared Patterson. Houston Texans immediately put up 7. Your thoughts on the change, man, and then your thoughts on Kenyon Green so far.
Yeah, y'all know me. I'm like the optimistic guy, give guys a chance, and I was all about that for Kenyon. But it's week 7, 8 in the season, and he's been by far the worst lineman on a unit as a whole that hasn't been great. So I was very excited. You could probably put Juice up there, but I think
There you go.
Kenyon.
That's what I wait on.
Juice has been bad too, but I think Kenyon's been the worst. But I will say I was very surprised / happy they did it. It seemed like they had to. He was just giving up, basically unabated rushers to CJ. And after seeing one too many big hits, they pulled the plug. Jarrett Patterson comes in, one drive, albeit small sample size, does a great job, but then he freaking gets a concussion. At that point, I'm thinking, it's going to be Kendrick Green, but then back comes in Kenyon Green. So I don't know. And then obviously going into this game, we can talk about that later, but Kenyon Green's still starting over Kendrick Green. So maybe they think Kendrick Green ain't much himself, but I like the move. It's tough. Yes, we've seen some good out of him, but overall it hasn't been good. And, initially it was just all mental, but now he's kind of getting beat physically some too. But, we'll see what happens this Thursday with him at left guard, but it's definitely not good. And I should say, like AD pointed out, Juice has played bad. I do think the bookend tackles, LT and Titus, have played better than what people think. LTs, now that we got over those penalties, we can realize he's an elite pass pro protector. But a big part of the pass protection too is just the whole unit. It's the running backs and tight ends as well. So, but I like the benching. Hopefully we hold them accountable going forward.
It felt like a breath fresh of air. And AD, I agree with you. It's not just Kenyon Green. I heard Locked On say you might need 3 new interior offensive linemen next year. And it's hard not to disagree with that take, man. Shaq Mason, he's getting up there in age. You could say, he's, the W word. I'll just go ahead and say washed if you want to go ahead and say that. Juice Scruggs has been struggling, man. You might need 3 new interior linemen. But AD, Kenyon Green gets benched. He comes back in. You had some breaking news on your channel the other day. Go ahead and tell the world, man.
Yeah, shout out to Big Sarge at Big Sarge Sports. He broke the news last night that Kenyon Green was benched on Monday for Kendrick Green. but things change, and they must have had a change of heart or had some different communications. But Kenyon Green is back starting. Um, That was a lot of back and forth, but yes, Kendrick Green was slated to start on Monday, and then on Tuesday, changed, and Kenyon Green became the starter once again.
Did
And what?
Sarge say anything as to why that happened?
Yeah, I was just about to ask that. Like,
Sorry.
what
No,
changed?
no reason why. It could be a lot of things. Could be the short week. Could be different things, but it's something internal that they didn't share.
Hmm.
So hey, it
That's
could be.
odd, man. I mean, to do that and then go back on it, it's like you almost are better off just sticking with the
I'm gonna
decision
say
you
this:
did.
we got a head coach, don't we?
Trust D'Amico is what you're saying.
The head coach, I think he has the final say, right?
basically.
Maybe, yeah.
Now, Harley,
Second guessing.
Now he got up on the podium Tuesday and said we won 6 games with Kenyon Green.
mm,
That was his way of saying, hey, Kenyon is our starter. Um, this is just my perspective and my perspective only. This is not from any source or anything. D'Amico Ryans made that decision.
mm.
D'Amico Ryans made the decision of Kenyon Green
Mhm.
starting again.
Harley, your thoughts on that? I mean, I could understand it. You got a short week at New York. Kenyon Green, he's been here all year. Maybe it is some bad plays, like D'Amico Ryans, says, right? Everyone has bad plays, but your thoughts on what AD just said.
I mean, did Kendrick Green piss in someone's Wheaties? I mean, I thought I'm not saying Kendrick Green is better, but if you were looking at alternatives, I thought somebody that we saw at open training camp continuously fill in at the left guard position, even battle at left guard with Kenyon Green,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just nowhere to be found except fullback. That's just crazy to me, and I could see why when you saw a few tweets of people saying that he looked vividly upset on the sidelines. Yeah, I'd be upset too. Damn, I mean, come on now. I'm over here working my ass off and trying to do the best I can to try to find my opportunity, and I finally feel like I got my opportunity. And you give it to Jared Patterson, and okay, things happen, got the concussion. All right, now I'm looking like I'm gonna get in there, and nope, Kenyon Green, you're right back in there. Damn. So then I go this week and think, well, you know what? I got myself a chance. And D'Amico goes, yeah, you know what? Maybe you're gonna get the start. He goes, man, I'm excited. And then you know what? D'Amico said, oh hell no, man. I saw you a fullback. You could barely do that. It's just a very odd situation. But I mean, he's not entirely wrong. You've already played so much with Kenyon Green already. To me, I think it's a short week. Kenyon Green knows he knows. It's kind of tough because he hasn't played the greatest. Okay,
Mhm.
Juice Scruggs hasn't played the greatest, and I think it's a combination of both guys. This is just an entire offensive line that just it's unfortunate that we have to continue to talk about the offensive line through 7 weeks and 8 weeks into the season. And it kind of feels like, and I'm trying not to be pessimistic, but it kind of feels like this is going to be the story all year for the Texans. This is offensive line, because until they get it fixed, then the offense can really see its full potential. And the offensive line, it's not doing its thing right now. I'm growing worried about the O line. I tried to be like, oh well, they've only played 7 games altogether as a fully healthy O line. I'm starting to run out of that excuse.
Yeah, no, and I think at this point, Harley, you are what you are. I don't think this Houston Texan offensive line is going to get better. I mean, the only thing I think they could do is just play with more passion, more fire, but that's just about it. This has probably been one of the, big disappointments, right? The excuse of they didn't play one single game together all year, was kind of why we thought they were going to be good, and all the investments, man. We'll just put an end to the offensive line because we could go on and go on. Stressings, we saw. Oh, 80, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, one comment. I see a lot of people upset at D'Amico. The same people that are upset with D'Amico has always been trust D'Amico.
It has to be.
Whatever it is, but when it's something you don't like, now you don't trust D'Amico. We gotta get away from that. It's either one or the other. Either you trust D'Amico wholeheartedly, or you don't trust him at all.
Well,
So
this is the first time he's done something where you're like, okay.
we
For
didn't
me,
say
this
that
is my
when he didn't bench Larry Tunsil for all them damn false starts.
comparing benching Laramie Tunsil
But I'm
to
just
Yeah.
benching Kenyon
but
Green.
I'm
That's
just
not
saying
even the
it's
same.
different things as well. Dalton Schultz not being held accountable. Like we've talked about a lot of things of different players having lackluster moments and doing things that we're like, what the hell? And they just trot them right back out the next week. And it's the same old thing, and it's recycled, rinse, what do you call it? Wash, rinse, and repeat. It's the same thing. You don't see any wholesale major changes. The Miko as a core is that I put my guys out there. They're going to do, I trust them. I trust my guys. I'm going to ride with them till the wheels fall off until you can't anymore. Like
But this is a different scenario because you're talking about like the franchise, CJ Stroud potentially getting injured because of someone being terrible at what they do. Like this is a little different, and like this is the first time that I think it's fair to say trust D'Amico, but then now he has this one issue. You're like, okay, like what are we doing, bro?
But let me
like
say
it would be bad if you continue to defend him with this. Like if you continue to defend him on the Kenyon Green not benching,
right? But I mean, he's been consistent. Is what I'm saying is that he's been consistent with every single player, whether they're struggling
he's a
or not.
player's coach. He sticks with them.
He never throws them under the bus. He's going to ride with them till he can't ride with them anymore. And then you talk about CJ Stroud being injured. Anytime any NFL player steps out on the field, Gary, you played. It's a chance you're going to get hurt, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but the chances with Kenyon Green on and off the field is like exponentially higher.
Yeah,
as the way
like
it
I
looks
said,
right now.
I'm not trying to defend Kenyon Green because Kenyon Green has been bad. I've been a wholehearted supporter of Kenyon Green, and I've supported him getting benched in the middle of the game. He was bad. He had bad moments. So I'm not trying to defend Kenyon Green. I'm just saying that D'Amico is the player's coach, and he's going to ride for his players.
Well, that's fair, but we haven't seen an example like this. Like most of the ones you can say, okay, that makes sense. Even you may disagree. Like this one is like, I don't care if that's your philosophy or not. Like this one is just too obvious, bro. Like that would be my rebuttal to that. But I agree with what you're saying. Like he's been consistent, and I guess we're learning that too. But like he's almost being too consistent on this stance, like to a fault now. And like now it's like, all right, bro. Like this is
yeah.
Harley, man, like what do you think about that? Because I certainly think the fact that you have a franchise quarterback in CJ Stroud throwing the football, I feel like it has to be like I don't have time to wait for you to develop, man. When you saw some of the hits that he was taking from the right side, it scares you. And the fact that I feel like 10 people put the tweet out at the same time that he's going to get CJ Stroud killed, and I remember the days of Deshaun. I remember the days of David Carr, and both of those guys. They have a season on the top 10 all-time sack list. David Carr has 2 of them. It just gave me PTSD, dude. I like that they made the move. Yeah. I did like what AD said. I'm gonna trust D'Amico here because he's giving me no reason not to trust him. However, Harley, I wonder how long is the like the leash for Kenyon Green on Thursday night?
Oh, yeah, that's definitely a good question. I mean, we already know that, and Big Sarge mentioned that they kind of flip-flopped already. So that to me is already like, okay, it's in the back of your mind. Hey, Kenyon, if you're not working out, and by the way, hey, Kenyon, here you go. You're going to go back to being the starter, and you're playing the Jets and Quinnen Williams, buddy. So good luck with that one. So it is what it is, man.
Hey, but what's crazy is that the way the NFL works and the league works and how life works, Kenyon Green will come out and have his best game he's ever had in his life. And everybody will be like, what the hell?
I wish. I hope so.
Then we'll be in this conundrum of, damn, do we keep Kenyon out there? He just locked down Quinnen Williams, one of the best defense tackles in the league, or do we bench him again because he was ass for 3-4 weeks in a row?
I hope that's the case. I'll be so happy. D'Amico will be happy. I told y'all.
I'll be happy.
Dude. He did come back and play, better, than what
Yeah.
he was in the first quarter. So hopefully, being bench was like, hey man, we got to get it together, and he knows what it's like to play, football in Texas. It means the world here, man. So
Mhm.
we got to get it going. We're wishing you the best, Kenyon. Another huge loss for the Houston Texans. Tressens, wide receiver Stephon Diggs tearing his ACL, and this is a pretty big loss. You already are without Nico Collins. You do get him back next week. But it feels like the injuries just keep on plaguing this Houston Texan offense. It was Joe Mixon for a couple of weeks. It was Nico Collins. You lost Brevin Jordan. And now, you are inconsistently without Damian Pierce due to Regorin. And now you lose Stephon Diggs to an ACL tear, man. It has not been easy for this offense.
Yeah, I mean it's devastating. I was holding out hope, like hoping it was like an MCL sprain from the
What? Me
first
too. I
week.
was praying, dude. I was praying like we
I
get it
had
back by
myself
the Chiefs.
convinced. I didn't even want to entertain the idea. So when it broke, it hit me. I was like, "Damn, bro! Like no way." But yeah, I mean, obviously, he was productive for us. I think some people were saying he wasn't productive. Like, he was very productive, and he was a reliable target for CJ Stroud, especially on third downs. And he's somebody too that he'll be where he needs to be, and that he'll catch it. I mean, he's got the most dependable hands you can ask for. So that's a tough loss. I know instantly our thought is, okay, what's the move going forward? We can trade for a receiver or we can stand pat with what we have in house. What we will do, I'm not sure. I tend to believe that we probably won't do anything, just knowing Nick Caserio's nature. He's kind of, a sit back and let things come to me type of GM opposed to like being aggressive and overreaching for stuff, overspending. But I think that they have good depth in the room. As far as like an immediate replacement for Diggs, the way I look at it, Stephon Diggs was our slot receiver. He played outside in two wide receiver sets, but any kind of 11 personnel or three wide receiver sets, he was the primary slot. I think his splits were like almost 50 to 60% in the slot. So if we were to replace him, it's going to be a slot guy, and the next two guys up are Robert Woods and John Mechie. I do want to say that I don't think fans are going to like this, but I think we'll see more Robert Woods than what we'd like to see. But I think it's not a bad thing. You talk about, like I just mentioned, a reliable, consistent guy. That's exactly what Robert Woods is. He may not be flashy or sexy as far as getting open really easy on routes or fast, but like he'll be in the right spot. If there's a hot read, he'll make the hot read. Given the way our offense has operated, there's a lot of guys not doing their job correctly and not executing. We cannot have that. We know for one thing with Robert Woods, he will do his damn job. He's a vet. But so I think there's a good mix between him and Mechie. And I think Mechie is a much better receiver in the slot. In the preseason, a lot of success you saw from him was in the slot. So I think there's a good mix there. And, we all saw the flashes in the preseason, but then people are down on him in these limited reps in the regular season. But he hasn't really got any opportunity. So, like, now you're writing him off all of a sudden because he's played in 2 or 3 games, 10 snaps a game, and hasn't been the primary target. So I think we should stand pat and we'll be fine. But if not, there's trade options out there for sure. I'll let you guys go into that so I don't take all the discourse. But it's a big loss, but I think we'll be fine regardless.
AD, your thoughts on the loss of Mr. Stephon Diggs? A mentor just everywhere, man. Was working out with the wide receivers in training camp who didn't even make the 53-man roster. Me and Harley, we were at the training camp in the rain where it was just horrible. He's running up and down the sideline, yelling at the offense. We need to pick this shit up. And, the whole crowd applauded because that's what you want to see when you trade for a veteran like Stephon Diggs, man. Your thoughts, and do the Houston Texans need to go out there and get a wide receiver?
I think they explore the idea just to see what's out there. I mean, you still got guys like Hunter Renfrow that's a free agent that you can look at. Do you make a trade? Do you want to spend capital for Jacoby Myers or, what's the other guy that they've been floating around?
Mike Williams.
Mike Williams, of all people. They're even running out Tyreek Hill like as a possibility. Like, that's not happening. But I think
Imagine.
I wish.
in a perfect world, yeah. Cooper
We don't
Kupp,
got any damn money either, too. We have like
No.
$5 million in cap space.
Yeah, no. Cooper
Monopoly
Kupp was
money
another
it
one. Cooper Kupp was another one that they floated around. But I mean, you always have to do your due diligence and explore the idea and look and see what's out there and what's available and what the price and cost and everything would be But I mean, you got talented guys in that receiver room. You got, Stresson's brought up Robert Woods. He's a talented guy, even though people have a distaste for him. But I mean, he gets the job done. He does what needs to be done. He's a lunch pail guy. Then you got John Mechie and Xavier Hutchinson, who are extremely talented. They just haven't had the opportunities. And I said it last night, like when you're talking about opportunities, we're not talking about just them running ghost routes in the Green Bay game or them just being on the field for rundowns, like actually having targets toward them during the game, meaningful targets at that during the game. That's what they haven't had since they've been in Houston. Neither one of them. So this is an opportunity for sure with no Nico, no Diggs, that they can absolutely shine. I do reign the sentiment of our boy Barrett that this may be an addition by subtraction. Um, that Stephon Diggs kind of limited the offense in a sense. So my hot take is that the offense may seem a little bit more explosive. You may see a little bit more wide receivers outside of the numbers and less bunch formations. Stephon Diggs may have been a cause of the bunch formations. We all like to think the offensive line, but Stephon Diggs may have been a cause of it too. Um, so you know, I'm anxiously waiting to see what Tank Dell does in this prime role as being the number one receiver.
I want to add one thing about Robert Woods too is he's a great run blocker. I mean, that's something we didn't like. We hate it, but like in this offense, Slowick demands receivers to block. That's one asset he has too. And Diggs was pretty good for us in that role too.
Mm-hmm. And Harley, I'm on this. I'm on the fence here because on one side, I would love to see John Mechie eat. Xavier Hutchinson eat. However, I see what the other top teams are doing. The Chiefs got DeAndre. The Jets got Devontae. The Bills got Amari Cooper. The Ravens got Deontay Johnson. Do you think that could force Nick Casario to also make a move out there? Because I could see that potentially happening as well if you are serious about truly, contending and going places where you've never gone before. The NFL trade deadline is November 5th, Harley. So, a lot of things could happen in the next couple of days.
Yeah, November 5th next Tuesday, by the way. So kind of cool that we have a game tomorrow, and then we could further evaluate whether or not how they played wide receiver wise. And by they, I'm talking about the crop of receivers we were just mentioning, Hutchinson and Mechie. Both of those guys, we're going to find out, okay, if they play well, then hey, you might not take a look at wide receiver. You might not explore it unless it's just something super cheap. I just, when I look at the wide receiver market, I continuously just fixate on Jacoby Myers just because of the connection that Nick Casario has. He drafted him in 2019. Jacoby Myers really hadn't had like a legitimate
800-yard a season guy.
Yeah, he hasn't really had a legitimate quarterback either, in his fairness. But no 1,000 yards from him. And to me, if you're going to get a receiver, you got to get somebody that, at least in my opinion, is better than Robert Woods. If they're not better than Robert Woods, then why do I need them? That's the only thing I would say. And I think Jacoby Myers, I would pretty confidently say he's better than Robert Woods, even though I like Robert Woods. I really do. I think he was a underrated, healthy player for the Colts game that nobody talked about enough of. Stresson's mentioned it. He's great in the run game. We've all mentioned it. He's just consistent. If you need 7 yards, he's going to get you 8. You need 6 yards, he's going to get you 7, and so on and so forth. That's what Robert Woods does. He's super consistent. He's going to always be there. And CJ Stroud, if he's in trouble, Robert Woods can be the guy. Oh, there he is. Boom, here's a little 5 yards, and let's keep the chains moving or whatever. Tank Dell's the number one primary. I'm excited to see it. Him and Sauce had some battles in the AAC as I spread my Houston Cougar fandom all over this Texans roundtable because I can't wait to see this, man.
Sauce is having a down year too.
Dude, he looked bad last week. And, before we move on, I will say this about Robert Woods. Last year in the first month of the season, he led the NFL in catches on 3rd and 4th down. So he had a reliable and he had a trust with CJ Stroud. So hopefully that translates to this year.
Let me ask this question. Do we miss Noah Brown?
Come on now.
We do.
For
Every
Steven
We cut
Sims,
Noah Brown
bro.
to keep
For
Steven Sims, who's not even returning
Sims.
punts.
so
Listen,
we all saw the same tweet. Thank God.
I told, dude,
Thank God.
I told my boy Jacob this. The way I'm gonna talk about Noah Brown in my, in my mind, he's the conversations for all-time GOAT Houston Texans wide receiver, right? I'm gonna mention Noah Brown like how Max Kellerman said, "I want Iguodala." I'm gonna say, "Give me Noah Brown," for his for his first couple of games, but. I don't know if they make a move, man. I definitely think they might, have to with what the rest of the league is doing. If not, I completely understand. Stressing's another thing we have to talk about. We saw Indianapolis quarterback Anthony Richardson after an insane, play where he just threw for Lorenzo Fontecasi to the ground. Gets stuffed, paused by Jay Hansen, gets up, taps out. Now, I've never seen that before. You're older than all of us, bro. So, like, let us know
Oh,
your
don't do
thoughts.
I'm
I'm older than Garrett.
30. I'm 36 today, so
You got me.
Hey,
You got me by a little bit. Happy
oh,
birthday,
damn.
Garrett.
All
Happy
right,
birthday,
appreciate it,
Gary.
bro. Appreciate
let's
it.
go to the club, bro.
Hey, if you get the okay from my wife, I'm there, baby. Yeah. So I'm sorry. What was the question? Was AR tapping out?
Yeah, the
Yeah, no,
IR
I've never
five tap
seen
out.
that, bro. I mean, obviously, it's like common for like receivers. You run some gassers, you tap out. It doesn't make sense for you to run 50 yards back to the line of scrimmage. And we saw the play. Like, yeah, you can justify it. Like he was running for his life. He had to shed off some 200-pound D lineman, but the scenario would have been third and long. Like, it's just not like that. That speaks to like a deeper level, like just how you're built inside, bro. Like you don't want that from your quarterback. I saw a bunch of stuff on that. I forget who it was, but I think it was Luke Kuechly talking on Kay Adams' show. He's like, I play with Cam Newton. Like, if you want to talk about a running quarterback having to shuck off, 300-pound linemen and this and that, like that dude did it like every play, and he never once tapped out. Like he would run his ass back to the huddle, tired as hell, and get the next play in. And then we all saw the clips with like Damian Woody and Rex Ryan. Like these are guys that have played and coached. Like they know like that's not a good thing. And he didn't mean any harm by it. Like it may be overblown a little bit, but I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I made a bunch of memes on it. I saw, he got a new deal with the Tap Out clothing brand because it was a perfect fit. I'll have, if I send you this picture, it means I quit, all that stuff. So, yeah, that was crazy. And he needed to be benched before even playing us, honestly. Shane Steichen waited too long, and now they've played this game. They're in a messed up position. I mean, they should have benched him or not brought him back. If I was him, I would have kept him out and said his injury was worse than what it was and let Flacco ride it out until he fizzled out. But they brought him back, and now he sucks. And now they're in a predicament. Like now his confidence is shook. It's like, am I good or not? And then I don't know. And then they're kind of behind the 8 ball now.
AD, did IR5 lose the Indianapolis Colts locker room? And your thoughts on him actually admitting that he tapped out during the game. You even saw Zaire Franklin on the podcast, right? I saw that from Stretches, the clip he put out there. He was like, come on, man, you gotta lie, in that situation. Yeah. I feel like he was trying to, get some brownie points, hey, like, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I was tired, but dude, that that just set the entire NFL world, upside down, dude. So you think he lost the locker room? Is it over for him?
Let me say this. How smart are you to not lie when you're supposed to lie? like this is a perfect opportunity to lie. Nobody would question it. Nobody would have said anything. You could have said, "Oh, I got the wind knocked out of me. Oh, whatever. I heard something. My hip. I felt something popping my ribs. Whatever. Anything. You could have just threw anything out there. You don't tell the truth in that moment. You don't. You don't. And as a player, I'm pretty sure a lot of those players looked at him like, dude, what the fuck? Like, what the hell? And I'm not certain that he lost the total locker room because some guys, yeah, you're right, BG. Just don't say nothing. Don't say shit. And what you do is, I think you have those guys that ride for him because they, like, that's my boy, whatever. But a majority of that locker room is like, I can't trust you. I can't trust you right now. So he got a lot to prove. And if Flacco goes out there and they win 4 more games or 5 more games with Flacco, it's gonna be hard to bring him back, man.
I mean, Harley, it does seem like the window on Anthony Richardson is closing. But Harley, if you were out there and it's third and goal and you see your quarterback tap out and go to the sideline for one play, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh man. Oh man, I had some thoughts. It was just I thought it was one of the craziest things. I thought he was hurt, first of all. I really did. I was like, oh, he got hurt because I saw him go like that. So I thought he just got hurt because we're kind of used to it when it comes to Anthony Richardson. Injuries are common with him. And so I was like, okay, well, he got hurt. And then, man, my dad was like, man, he don't look hurt. And I'm like, huh. And he came right back after one play. And, I was kind of like, and that's weird. Maybe he had a stinger, maybe he had, I'm trying to find something, like maybe he got the wind knocked out of, like AD said. That's ridiculous, man. That's absolutely bullshit, to be honest. I mean, you could imagine, I'd love to just tap my head when I'm at work, doing an overtime or whatever. Like, hey, sorry, man, I'm out. I got to take the rest of the day off real quick. Like, come on, man. You got blue collar people that work their ass off. They don't get no timeouts. They don't get nothing like that. I mean, come on. You get paid handsomely to play this game. You know how much we if we had the physical abilities like Anthony Richardson and how much heart that I have when I used to play football, but being 5'6", 5'7" don't get you nowhere, man. and hey, if I had something like Anthony Richardson,
good looking, brother. You're good looking. That's all that matters.
Come on, man. I ain't quitting on nobody, man. That's ridiculous. That's horse shit. I mean, every synonym you can think of. If I was a teammate, I mean, I wouldn't even think about being with him anymore, man. Like I'm out on him. Joe Flacco gonna come in. He gonna win a few games. Watch out. Cole's gonna win a few games with Joe Flacco. He been there, done that. Like we saw it already this year. We saw it last year with the Cleveland Browns. The man can still play some decent football. You just got to play good enough. The Colts gonna win some games. They're gonna be sniffing around there.
Did y'all see JJ Watt talk about this today? I mean, like he made a good decision. Like either wait with them and develop him like you do with like a Jordan Love, or if you stick with them, ride it out. You can't do this back and forth thing. I mean, now it's like everyone's like, what the hell's going on?
Well, they should have done this. And I always was in the popular belief that they should have just benched AR when they drafted him. He didn't play enough games. He needed the time to just
get NFL coaching.
Exactly. Like, what was wrong with having him sit down? And if anything, come on, like we've seen past success. You could have pulled up examples. Whether or not it would have worked, who knows? But you could have pulled up examples. People sitting down, learning from guys. You had a Gardner Minshew, who, by the way,
he was better than him too.
I mean, come on now. Like
two people.
Minshew. Say it.
Yeah, 2 people were the reason why he played and started in the first place, and that's Chris Ballard and Jim Irsay.
Jim Irsay.
Yeah, those 2.
That's the whole.
Jim Irsay is the one who said draft him, and now he said, "Hey, play him."
Yeah, that just don't make sense. Like, why are you gonna play someone that only played 10 games?
So that's why they say Cal McNair is a good owner. Like, even though he's kind of goofy, this and that, the one good thing about him is he stays the hell out of it. He lets the pros do what they're supposed to do. He's not like a Jerry Jones or a Jim Irsay or even these both the New York owners are both terrible. Where they're kind of that's why they're both dumpster fires. They got too much influence.
You talking about me, Watcher?
Jerry Jones. That if you
let's cut it off.
if you know, shout out to Jamie Foxx, man. Was it Jamie Foxx, right?
Yes.
Jamie Foxx.
Oh yeah, the training camp. That shit was crazy.
8 inches is wild, bro.
Let's move on to tomorrow. Stressing the Houston Texans are already on their way to New York. They're headed to the Big Apple to face Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets, who are, I believe, losers of their last 4 or 5. They traded for 6?
6 in a row.
6 straight losses. I mean, it's just straight mid. When you look at his roster, you see the names of Devontae, Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, but it's just not working that, at all in the Big Apple. Your thoughts on tomorrow, man? Your confidence level?
It's not high, but I'm like not terrified either. I mean, even before the season, this was already penciled in for me as a tough game. We saw the game last year at MetLife, a great defense on the road. I assume a loud environment. I mean, that alone, we already struggle out with our offensive line. Tough defense on the road, loud environment. I thought last week we would remedy that being at home against a lesser front seven, and we were the worst we've been all year. So now we're going back into an environment with the elite defense, which the Jets defense is not as good as what it has been. And I have read up on it too. Ever since I can't pronounce the new head coach's name, Ulbrich, I believe. Ever since he's taken over, their defense has been worse, but they've blitzed more, which is not good for us on the offensive line communication wise. So that part worries me. And then you couple with the fact that Stephon Diggs is out now. Obviously, Nico's out, so we're going in with limited weapons. I'm concerned about it. I think it's a slugfest. The Jets, to me, are still underrated. 2-6 does not really indicate how good they are. They've lost a lot of close games. In my opinion, they could have very easily beat the Vikings. Mike Williams dropped a pass that was an interception on the game-winning drive. And then again, the next week, Mike Williams ran the wrong route and then adjusted to the ball wrong, also causing interception on the game-winning drive. So that's 2 back-to-back potential wins against good teams. And then the Patriots one obviously is a terrible loss, but it was pretty much lost by special teams. They missed a field goal, extra point, gave up a punt return essentially for a touchdown. So that's 11 points right there in a 3-point game. But the one big thing about the Jets, and I'm kind of like learning this overall, like watching all the NFL games, is there is value for a culture and a team. Like they have no culture, no team, no leader. So they really don't have like Aaron Rodgers is basically the head coach. Ulbrich, I mean, he's not doing anything. So on the flip side, we have a really good culture, and I think it's won us a lot of games. And so I think we're like 4-1 in 1-score games, and they're like 1-4. It's basically like the polar opposite. So we do have that going, but the way I see us winning is a close, tight game, conservative on offense, try and mix it up with more run-heavy blocking schemes, protect CJ at all costs, and lean on your defense. We have a massive advantage up front with our edge rushers and their tackles. Get pressure on Rodgers, get turnovers, short field. That's the way we win. So I think it's a low-scoring game, maybe win by 1 score, I hope.
AD, the Houston Texans currently 1-point dogs tomorrow against the New York Jets. Your confidence going into this game, man? We have some injury news. I'm pretty sure you guys don't know, but they will be without 2 of their starting safeties. They will be without their all-pro linebacker and one of their starting guards. How are you feeling, AD, for tomorrow?
I'm confident. As long as I got 7,
that's it.
Behind center. We get another center, but as long as I got 7 in the game, I'm confident. We talked about their offensive line struggles. I mean, our defensive line should just feast. Aaron Rodgers should get sacked at least 5 or 6 times. Vera Tucker is out, their starting guard.
Yep.
Their tackles have been turnstiles all season. They're going to try their best to get the ball out of Rodgers' hands quick, but he's not mobile anymore.
Nope.
He's a statue back there. That's where I think our advantage is that our defense will probably limit them to under 10 points. Yep. And then secondly, their defense stat wise has to me fool's gold because they got a lot of their stats against bad offenses. We talk about Will McDonald, who's right above Will Anderson in sacks with 8. 5 of them came against the freaking Tennessee Titans and New England Patriots. So how much
good point
of a dominant factor is Will McDonald? And then Hassan Reddick is just getting back. He's nowhere near in playing shape. He's not. I don't think he's going to be a factor because I really don't think they're only going to play him, but on those 3rd and long downs and specialty packages and everything like that. Of course, Quinnen Williams is Quinnen Williams, but some people in New York and New Jersey are saying that he's having a down year compared to his previous years. Could it be Ulbrich and the system? And they just, are ass, but I want to see Tank Dell abuse Sauce Gardner.
How about down here?
I want to see all of these things. I think we have an advantage. Like you said, CJ Mosley is out. Dalton Schultz, can you give me a repeat performance of the 50 yards or 50, 60-yard game? If we get that from Dalton Schultz, I don't even think it'll be close.
Harley, your confidence level for tomorrow. I know you are looking forward to this Tank Dell versus Sauce Gardner matchup, man. How we feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling really good, actually. You're like, yeah, I know the Jets are going to be playing hungry. They're 2-6, being 2-7. Ooh, you got to basically win out in order to make the playoffs. It's going to be tough to not make the playoffs in the AFC without 10 wins. So that's going to be tough for the Jets. So expect them to be playing, with their heads on fire. Aaron Rodgers and them should be a good game for the Texans. I think it's going to be a bit closer than we'd like, but I do think that the Houston Texans perform well. They show some signs of improvement, and I'm ecstatic about not only Tank, but I'm ecstatic about Will Anderson, because that offensive line, like AD said, is about like Swiss cheese at best. And when you got a guy like Will Anderson who has 7.5 sacks, and I continue to eye the sack leaders and the defensive player of the year conversations, because damn, man, I want Will to get that DPOY, man. I really do. I'm starting to talk more about it because, man, for selfish purposes, I want him to get that DPOY in his second year as a Houston Texan and put himself into.
I got that future.
William Anderson Jr.
Of course, I would love
I bet
to see
50
it,
to win like 1,500 is what my bet is on that.
Here we go. I mean, he's at 7.5 sacks right now. Dexter Lawrence is the leader, I believe, with 9, because Dexter Lawrence is just a monster right now. And then Will McDonald, as AD said, the guy got sacks against chumps. Like, come on now. I think I could have gone out there and got a sack against the Patriots. Come on, man.
We'll got 3 of them bitches against the Patriots.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So Will Anderson, Daniel Hunter, one of the best duo edge rushers in the NFL right now. So, I'm excited to see what this defense is going to do. I don't think the Jets are playing good football, obviously, being 2-6. There's a lot of, like what Stressens was saying, there is a lot of just disorganized stuff that's going on there. You got the band back together with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, and now players got to be traded because they're back together. I don't know, man. It just seems like Robert Saleh getting fired. That just feels like forever ago now. Like it's just that organization is in disarray. Shout out to Woody Johnson. So the New York Jets, they New York, man. I can't stand New York. Fuck New York. I really hate New York. I can't stand the Jets. I can't stand the Giants, the Yankees, anything up north past Cleveland, Texas is a.
Have the Yankees lost yet, by the
way? Say it again.
Well, I don't know if y'all saw that, but the Yankees were up 5-0 earlier and they blew it.
Oh, yeah, I know the Dodgers have tied it, but then Giancarlo hit a sac fly to get the lead. But yeah, man, no, I'm pretty ecstatic to see this game. I want to see the Texans blow them out. There's been too much talk about the New York Jets and, oh, well, this is the game to turn it around. And I'm like, man, what's the disrespect for us? We are 6-2 and we're underdogs. Like, come on, man. Like 6-2 is 6-2. You can say whatever the hell you want. Oh, this ain't a regular 6-2 football team. It's a bad 6-2 football team. We 6-2. We had to figure out somehow to get these 6 wins.
We are a team. They're not a team. So, like, to your point, like we talked about, like a lot of what it too is like. Unfortunately, we've watched a lot of these primetime games and they've been on freaking every single one of them. But like they are super undisciplined. Like they make the dumbest mistakes. They actually are 30th in the league in penalties with 63, and we're 28th with 61. I feel like that's mostly from our first 4 games. I feel like we've turned it in the right direction. Mm-hmm. So, but like they have no leader. So like they don't have anyone, hold them accountable. So they're very undisciplined.
Stresses, before we leave, one key to the game for you and your score prediction for tomorrow.
I mean, obviously the biggest key is protecting CJ, but I think a way for us to score points and win on offense is to have a handful of CJ Stroud out of structure plays, go for big plays. The Jets run man coverage the 4th most in the league at around a 30% rate. So, if CJ is able to get back to how he was 2-3 weeks ago, where he can extend the play, where he's getting flush out of the pocket and force these defensive backs to cover our receivers, Tank, for 4 or 5 seconds and hit them on a deep, a scramble drill play. I feel like it's just a couple of those could really change the game for us. And score prediction, I'll go with It's an ugly ass game. 17-13.
Ooh, AD key to the game score prediction.
Key to the game. Get to Aaron Rodgers. Make Aaron. We made Anthony Richardson tap out. Let's go ahead and make the other AR. Let's make the other AR tap out as well. That's the defense, man. Defensive line. We got Henry Toa back, guys. How about
Hey,
that?
yeah, he be dancing on TikTok a lot, man.
Man.
No
Hopefully he dancing on the field after he sacked Aaron Rodgers. But you know, Kamari's back. You know, and Kalen,
Kamari's a dog.
Yeah,
Fucking love Kamari, dude.
Kalen is back as well. So like, I feel very confident. Devin White, we got another week with Devin White in the system. So
Hey, your thoughts on Devin White, AD? Because you know you had the film.
Yeah, D'Amico Ryans is the greatest linebacker coach of all time.
Similar to the Patriots, man. They just know how to use.
It was like the first time he dropped back, Devin White was right there, up in his grill. I was like, "Holy fuck, this dude's fast."
Yeah.
Well, he found his strength and he put him in his position of strength. Like, hey, you're good at this, then do this. You trying to make a pause on that?
No. I mean, I was like, is that real or no?
Nah, I don't think so. But score prediction.
Oh, sorry. Someone said RMP joke. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Score prediction. Sticking with the 30s, man. 31-9.
Oh.
Ooh.
31-9. I mean, your first dominant win of the season. It's on prime time. It's on Halloween. That's gonna have me feeling real nice, real freaky. Later on in the night. We're going to the club. We're hitting up Whiskey River, boys. Y'all see me out there. We're gonna have a great time. Harley, keys to the game. Score prediction.
I love getting to AR, Aaron Rodgers. I love that. That's obviously a big one. Run the football. They're just not a good run defensive team, the Jets. Run the football with Joe Mixon, man. Do your thing with Joe Mixon. He's been a dominant running back in the league so far. Run the football. Set it up, man. Do your thing. Create play action. I'd love to see some more play actions from the Texans off of Joe Mixon. I'm expecting at least $120 from Joe Mixon. I really am. At least $120 from him. Easily one touchdown. Yeah, the Houston Texans, I believe they win this game. I'm going to go 24-16. The Houston Texans hold them to some field goals. Lots of field goals for the Jets. That's what I'm expecting. A lot of bend, don't break kind of defense to get Aaron Rodgers into some trouble. And again, come out with an 8-point lead and a really good, really solid game from them on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, I'm thinking more along the lines of like 17-10. I think it might be very close. But I think the Houston Texans defense is going to stand out, man. I think old man Aaron Rodgers is going to be on his back a lot. Pause. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you all for being a part of this episode. I was joined by Mr. Stressens. Let them know where they can find you and all your latest work.
Yeah, so at Texans Commenter on basically all social media. It's Houston Stressens on Instagram. I got my website, HoustonStressens.com. Been writing articles. I'm still like really trying to make it like a fan-centric thing where you can create a profile and interact on there. And I'm going to drop the content creator page soon where y'all can see, who to follow and all their stuff. But I'll have a show here afterwards. If y'all want to tune in, feel free to do so. But if not, be blessing.
AD, let them know.
Shout out to Mark Zuckerberg, also known as Houston Stressens. Happy birthday, brother.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you can find me at the H-Town Rundown. I'm basically on all platforms except TikTok. We're almost there on TikTok, and also follow us on the htownrundown.org website. Yeah, that's where you find me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all of the above.
Harley, let them know, brother.
Y'all know, man. Y'all can find me at @TheLead_HOU everywhere on social media, including YouTube. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers, under 150 away from 10K. So again, super appreciative of every single one of y'all that has liked, commented, subscribed. If you're watching right now, what are you doing? Go down and hit that like button, man. Go and hit that like button, whatever platform you're on, or go on all platforms. and hit that damn like button, man. Do y'all's thing, man. What we laughing at now? What we
He
laughing
wants
at
you to
now?
go down.
I
You
want
want
you
to
to
go
go
down?
down and smash.
Come on, man.
Easiest
Go down
smash
and hit the damn like button.
of your
Come on, man.
life.
Take your mind out the gutter. Come on, man.
All right, family. Well, we'll be back next week as we discuss whatever the hell happened against the New York Jets and preview the following week. And guys, for more Houston Texas content, just follow all of these beautiful people for more, man. I think we're bringing you some of the best out there. All these guys drop their best content, their best work on their respective